This September, Team Dimension Data and Zwift are joining forces to create a unique cycling opportunity. Open to cyclists of all ages and abilities, the Team Dimension Data Zwift Academy is a world-class training program designed to make you a rider who will accomplish more than just personal fitness gains. For every 10 cyclists who graduate the academy, Zwift will donate a Quebec bike to help mobilize South African communities.
The work that we do with Quebec, we can change the lives of many different people and communities, and hopefully one day a child that starts on a Quebec bicycle ends up at the Tour de France. Zwift is an amazing platform to connect with fans and to ride with people around the world. The work that we do with training to another level,
Zwift
change the lives of many different people and communities, and hopefully one day a child that starts on a Quebec bicycle ends up at the Tour de France. Zwift is an amazing platform to connect with fans and to ride with people around the world. The work that we do with training to another level, change the lives of many different people and communities, and hopefully one day a child that starts on a Quebec bicycle ends
relate that to
Zwift is an amazing platform to connect with fans and to ride with people around the world. The work that we do with training to another level, change the lives of many. This is a real opportunity for any under 23 rider from around the world to come into our continental team to showcase their talent and to be a part of the national team circuits and the under 23 circuits, and then potentially get into the world tours.
I truly believe that Zwift Academy is going to fill in a huge chunk of that journey from being a dreamer to the reality at the end.
Zwift and Team Dimension Data challenge you to train today for a stronger, better tomorrow. Take action now and sign up at academy.zwift.com.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nathan Garrett, coming at you from Zwift Community Live with the KISS Europe race, part of the Zwift Academy races that are being done for the program. And we are just getting going with the A category race for the flat course out on Watopia. I believe it's going to be about 4 laps or so. We've got, I saw 327 riders showing up for this race today. At the start, when I first logged in, I think it's probably climbed over 350 since then. Absolutely amazing. So let's get right into the racing. As the A's have gotten going, we will have avatars in the A's and the B category, and then we'll be jumping right on into the C and D category as we can toward the end of the race. So with 327 plus riders out there today, it's going to be a heavy competition. I know that I did see earlier today that Innovation was going to be showing up in force. I'm also seeing the likes of Johan Brigneval is in there as well, who's been in for the wins as of recently. We'll make sure to keep eyes on Burton as well here, who's been looking for a podium for a few weeks now, I believe, has been always in the hunt. It's going to be the kind of race that's going to really come down to tactics, though. Being on the Watopia flat reverse, you only see climbing and through the Essies here, as you do see them heading on through this series of punchy little climbs. Then they'll go ahead and take a right-hand turn onto the Watopia flat course, onto the Ocean Boulevard, and head on underneath the underwater tunnel, and then head out of the underwater tunnel back toward the lap area. So on the Watopia flat course, it's definitely going to be very tactical, only at those places at which it goes uphill, or perhaps you could send a few off the front for attacks with some team tactics. Team tactics may be coming into play, I would believe, out on course today. We are live today on Zwift's Facebook, as well as on our Zwift Community Live Twitch and our Mixer channel. If you would like to check out what it's like to be, I believe we are going to have a co-stream over at Mixer's channel today with Mr. Dafford Williams. If you'd like to check out what our new feature is over there, you can go ahead and do so. Zwift Community Live has let everybody know over at Zwift's Facebook that you can ask questions or comments during the race today, and have them show up in the broadcast actually live here. So go ahead, questions, comments, or who you're cheering for, or even send some pics of your Zwift setup, do go ahead and bring them right on in. We can go ahead and show you exactly how to do that. Just go ahead and make a comment over at Zwift's Facebook, or tweet at us at Z Community Live, and that will give you the ability to jump right on into the broadcast. And Liam Gross is helping us out right off the bat, saying, do I see Ryan Beavis racing there? Most likely do. I do see him out there once in a while, so good to see Liam hanging out there saying, go UK. So we keep an eye out Liam hanging out there saying, go UK. A lot of UKs, so we keep an eye out UK flags, actually. There's probably a lot of UKs over actually, and very competitive at that. We do see Augustine though here with Innovation, the director sportif, the team leader over at Innovation. Kyle Augustine, originally from New Zealand, hanging out in the UK, I believe today. That's where he's racing from, but you can see that Kiwi flag there on the right hand side of the course. This is a massive multiplayer online training platform, and riders from all over the world right now are competing against each other in the Watopia world right now. We do see Tim Cartwright there, probably one of the favorites. I didn't see that he was signed up until just now. And so am I actually seeing, I do see Roe and King here with our Beavis here, actually. So good. That's interesting riding for Roe and King. Maybe some information that I am not privy to here. If I could get a little bit of help from the chat, as our Beavis is hammering away, it looks like, with Luke. Is that it's an interesting tag there. Is that a new team in game right now? So Steve Weidman now here for Team Experimental, right along with Groot, and it looks like Heath Grimshaw now, Metcalf and Adam Webb now up toward the front as well. Maybe be watching out for him in favor for Webb. We'll see if he can pull off another W today. It might have been a little while since he's grabbed a podium though, as of recently. We'll have to see if he can. Of course, let's go ahead and see how that is shaping up. You can watch the live results over at zwiftpower.com. Zwiftpower.com will have live results for you. I'm going to go ahead and show you real quickly how you can go about doing that, so that you can also join in the broadcast, but at the same time make sure that you are able to follow up on all the statistics that are being pushed over to zwiftpower.com. This is the zwiftpower.com website. I go ahead and go down to the KISS Europe race right here. There's a live tab in the upper right hand corner. This is where the results will be. The race information can be found here, all of the rules, etc. So, and then you go ahead and click on live, and you can actually see populated here who is in the A category, B category, etc., and all their past results if you click on their name, as well as what their current 20-minute watt per kilogram has been throughout the race. So we'll be using that. It is Tim Cartwright up toward the front of the race right now, as they just entered into Ocean Boulevard. So in the B category though, we do have, I think, the largest, maybe the B and the C category, but one of the largest amounts of riders we've seen in quite a while. I think we haven't seen these kind of numbers since last winter. And already some breaks are most definitely starting to form. I'm seeing that Sam Bacon, I believe, here, a part of a chase group. Not sure which chase group it is here, but it's right along with Hoskins, Borstings. I'm clicking forward here, looking for the front end of this race. Tedman's in there as well, out of the UK. Moving forward, we are seeing, it looks like, Cade now in no man's land, trying to bridge the gap between this group that is about 8 seconds up, with PJ from Race WBR in there. Bijers in there as well from Team Experimental, coming out of the Netherlands now. Looking at Leverson, and then K. De Becker. Carlson from Innovation. I believe we have found the front of the main group at this point, or at least the middle of the main group. So many riders. I did see some of the riders were so many having trouble getting out a little bit of trouble getting out of the start finish line, actually, right from the get-go. So Ramirez here. Oh, now we've found the back end of the A's. Maybe we can get right back in with the B's here. Here we go. Colonel Crispin's there. I believe this will be the front end of the race. He usually does not get dropped off from the front end of the race this early. So Colonel Crispin there, right along with, looks like H. Wood Iona, I believe that is there as well Absalom's in there, it looks like, as well as Aristigi coming from Spain. A whole lot of riders, actually, too many to name at the front end of this race. We'll see if it does break apart, though. Point of interest would be Ocean Boulevard climb out of Ocean Boulevard, probably the next place that we will most likely see a couple of breaks out on course here. Going through the Essies, that series of punchies climbs they'll hit every time through the lap, did break things up a little bit, but as I look over at zippower.com, they are in this B category, about 3.4 kilometers in, and there is at least 100 riders, 150, 175, 100. Oh my goodness. So it goes all the way out to 198. Let's see here, subtract 57, and we're looking at over 120 riders, I believe it is, in the B category right now. So a huge race right now. A lot of riders that are showing up, I believe, are looking to complete their Zwift Academy requirements here by jumping into this race. But back in the A race, we were talking about how tactical it'll be. We do see the Melty Man, popular rider as of recently from KRT, showing up to a lot of races in the KISS Racing team here. Hammering away 4.1 watts per kilogram. He's got 5 seconds off the front. And with that group chasing him down, it's going to be a difficult day to get away here. But Team AHDR here with Tiasan now making his way to the front. And it looks like Innovation also with C. Orgel here trying to chase that down, not giving away too much wiggle room. And 2.3, 4.3 watts per kilogram, I'm not sure that Melty Man's going to be getting away. It's a valiant effort, but I'm not sure that it's going to pay off too much. Jobber here coming out of France now, 3.6 at the front. All they got to do is keep that speed at a reasonable level at the front, and he will not go anywhere. He'll have to hold a solid 6 to 7 watts per kilogram to try and make anything of this attack. It's not going anywhere just yet, and I'm not even sure that it's put any hurt into the legs for the rest of the peloton. They just kind of come in at a tempo level and bring them right back into the fold, so nobody's going anywhere just yet. But at the front here, we are seeing some riders starting to line up here. Pelosi now we see an arrow power up coming from a rider into the Adam Webb there. That's Adam Webb with Andvik now following very closely, coming out of Norway. That is an arrow power-up. Actually, power-ups are allowed in the KISS races. For those of you who might be unfamiliar, these are power-ups that you gain every time that you go through a start-finish banner, a sprint banner, or a KOM banner. And so he had one on reserve here, Andvik, in order to try and get away from the pack. Cartwright trying to follow it up. Gren there as well. All the favorites now making their way to the front now. Dauphin Williams, Jay Scott's there as well. Johan Gren, one of the favorites to win out there today, right along with another PTZ rider, Jay Scott there actually. Is that a recent announcement maybe from PTZ? Jay Scott was riding around in that elite kit for quite a while. So I think Jay Scott's joining up with the PTZ boys now at this point, working along with Gren, trying to chase down Andvik. But Andvik immediately going away. 183 beats per minute right now out of Norway, absolutely demolishing this attack right now. But 183, how long can he hold on to 6 watts per kilogram to try and gain an advantage over the group right now? Solo attacks out the front are very difficult to hold on to, especially on a flat course like this, just like in real life. Now looking, Barbosa here chasing that down. BRT's right along with M. Wall. Jay Lecoq has made this as well. Who's falling off, though, is the question. We are seeing Hargreaves in there. Oh, my goodness. Tom Hargreaves showing up, trying to absolutely decorate the field, as he would say here. And it looks like riding for ZHQ and NSS LRT. Good to see Mr. Hargreaves, actually the man behind the men's side of the Zwift Academy, joining up with the Zwift Academy boys. So we'll go ahead and give him a ride on 171 beats per minute. And we'll see if he can help to bring back Andvik and the likes of the rest at the front here. He has made the front group, actually, and it looks like 6 seconds, though, is the difference. Metcalf is hanging in there, and they're all being very tactical at this point. If anybody who thought that this was going to stick, they would be really smart to attack off the front at the same kind of effort that Andvik put down to try and get an immediate gap. Otherwise, the likes of Metcalf here are just going to slowly bring the entire group right back into the fold with them. So Andvik will be caught, and then everybody will Gruppo Compacto up again. It's going to be Gruppo Compacto again at that point, and nobody will be working too hard. Burton, though, maybe not wanting to see that happen now from the TFC team here in that yellow kit that they like to use. Looking over his shoulder here, you can see 7.4 watts per kilogram. Fleetwood's there as well, 5.6, and you do see Anvik now, 5.5, slowing it down a little bit. Burton there, not going much of anywhere, though, as it looks like Szerzynski out of Poland, as well as the rest of the group, are able to just pull it right back into the fold, actually. So good to see a couple attacks here early on, but nothing going anywhere just yet. So we are seeing kind of a setup photo here coming from Mr. Jonathan Nomlet. Good to see Johnny throwing out some tweets at us over at Z Community Live, giving us an example of how to make this happen. And kind of a setup photo, getting ready to fly for the Go Zwift Kiss Road Race Aussie E-Crit Final for at Z Community Live broadcast. A lot of work, hashtag, a lot of work. Johnny Nomlet is letting us know. Good to see that. Getting ready to fly to the Aussie E-Crit, setting up over there for Z Community Live, Zwift Community Live, and Go Zwift. And so we're looking forward to that broadcast next week. I believe it is Saturday, so make sure to tune in for that. And now we are seeing here, it looks like coaching company, I think, Luke and Rowe, Danny King. Yeah, so yeah, I was looking at that. I was assuming that's what it would be. We're really excited to see Luke Rowe and Danny out on Zwift. I know they have been using the platform for sure, and I looks like maybe forming a team out on Zwift now. And is there a price for 300 Zwift races? Nathan, Tom Ove Kalen is saying, I'm not exactly sure what the price, what we're talking about. What are we getting at there, Tom? Let me know. Give me a little more context there. Is there a price for 300 Zwift races? I'm not sure what we're getting at, but let me know a little bit more about the question there, and I'll try and answer it to the best of my ability. Brother Alfonso's letting us know that we are streaming at Z Community Live, so I believe Brother Alfonso is also streaming over on Mixer and maybe Twitch as well, or perhaps on Facebook. He does stream as well, so make sure to check out Mr. Alfonso's stream. Now, we are seeing attack here going through the Essies. It is going to be Webb and Cartwright, a couple of the favorites for sure to be watching out for today, and braving it up against the pack dynamics here. Anvik is going as well, again, out of Norway here, up in the 9 watts per kilogram, but it's at a very fast point out on course. He kicks it with that drafting power up. He's using that drafting power up through the group actually to try and gain a little advantage, but he didn't really accomplish much there except for bring the pack right on with him. You want to use moments out on course in which the pack is not going to just grab onto your draft and go right along with you. So what ended up happening there is he went ahead of the group a little bit, but not quite enough to gain enough room in order to not just bring his speed right back into the group. So now we are seeing Fleetwood here with the tall socks and the Zwift hat, always looking fashionable out on course here, as you can see here coming from Fleetwood. 167 beats per minute, currently able to make this front group right now, it looks like, out on the flat course. Hargreaves still sitting in there, Jay Lecoq there as well, Jay Scott it looks like, and then we do have Hassan, and then it will be riding for Rowan Kig. Beavis is there as well as Barbosa from PTZ team coming out of Portugal. Heat is there from Sweden. Super international field right now. So cool to see. So many country flags on the right hand side of the course. I'm seeing France, USA, UK. Who are you rooting for out there? What country or what trade team out on Zwift? ZHQ is out there represented as well. And prize, not price. Got it. So is there a prize for 300 Zwift races, Nathan? So who's got 300 Zwift races out there today? Is Tom Ove Kalen the first to 300? I'd wonder if that's what he's alluding to there, or perhaps somebody else out on course there. I think there is somebody currently leading, according to ZwiftPower.com, most races out on Zwift. I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of the riders out here currently to today. It may be Tom himself, actually, as he has been in a lot of races out on Zwift. So we are seeing up toward the front now, maybe a little bit of attack coming from Szerzynski, or just kind of leading things out, making sure he's not being dropped off. Hinton there from Innovation also making his way to the front, as we can see. Let's move back into the B category, as they're coming into one of the points of interests out on course. We are seeing them starting to have a few attacks through the Essies right now. Definitely one of the points of interest out on course where people can make something happen, as there aren't a whole lot of them on the flatter course. A lot more tactics involved for sure. We are seeing Colonel Crisps from the WBR team, actually, the World Bicycle Relief Team. You can always recognize them with that red, white, and light blue kit, actually. There's also seeing PJ from the WBR. We're seeing Davies, though, also from the Innovation team. You can recognize them in that Alienware kit that they have adopted since Team Experimental went ahead and were able to get their own in game, actually. Bijzer there from Team Experimental, though, is up toward the front from the Netherlands there. See if we can grab a shot here from the WBR boys. There we are, 5.2 watts per kilogram. A little bit of climb out of the Essies. This last little kick is usually the place where people are caught off guard. Not going much of anywhere just yet, unless somebody can sneak off the front. A lot of times, just like in real life, there is actually an arrow power-up being thrown down by Brierley here now out of the UK, or Brearley, excuse me if the pronunciation was incorrect there. With that arrow power up, may be causing a little bit of mayhem actually in this pack right now, but there were quite a few thrown down on the back end of that climb. And up toward the front now, though, we do see it is going to be the PTZ rider, S Light, 182 beats per minute right now with Heimfarth, and then it looks like Vigo and Absalon. Nothing just yet able to get off the front. We are seeing a little bit of mayhem at the back end of this group, though. Maybe a few unable to hang on. A lot of drafting powers being thrown down. I think those were being used right before the going under the banner, though. That's usually the way that the power-ups are used that are not wanted, is you go ahead and you use them prior to or at a spot where you're in a little bit of trouble, and then if you're looking for a new one as you come through the sprint banner, a lot of times you'll use one to try and get a double power-up, maybe use back-to-back, or at least grab one that you're looking for. The arrow power being the strongest one, reducing the drag on the avatars, is usually the one that, especially on this course, without a whole lot of climbing, the feather power up for only 15 seconds is not going to do a whole lot of advantage, but that arrow power up on a flat course like this for 30 seconds, most definitely going to be the one that these riders are going to be looking for to try and gain an advantage over the rest of the group. And we got a little bit of cheering going from Team TFC here. Good to see Team TFC tuning in to the broadcast. They are out there in that yellow kit saying, our man Matthew Burton is racing in the KISS road race. Can he finally get his breakthrough win? Check if he can at Z Community Live. Thanks a lot, Team TFC, for the tweet, and good to see you tuning in. We will be watching Matthew, looking for him to grab that win or a podium. I do see him actually entering in the A race into Ocean Boulevard right now. Actually, it does look like there was a little bit of split, actually, or at least a few riders right now off the back a little bit, trying to find their place in this group. Actually, 145 back to Bentley. The Hedgehog did get dropped off as well, actually. Envik up at the front here, right along with, it looks like the Melty Man actually attacking early on. Is that right? No, it's Cartwright. Excuse me. Cartwright from KRT. Favorite to win. Winner of the London World Cup, actually, with CVR World Cup, actually. Off the front, this boy is absolutely hammering right now. 6.8 watts per kilogram. It's got a solid 3 seconds, but at the front we do have Boweski here now. Maybe only able to put out 6 watts per kilogram, but pulling the entire group right back up to Cartwright, perhaps. Cartwright, seeing that it's not going maybe anywhere, fades immediately into a 4.8. Now up into 5.3, 5.5. He's kind of measuring, it looks like, whether or not this is going to go anywhere, but I'm not sure it's worth it at this point. At 4.4 watts per kilogram at the front, they don't have to put out too much of an effort. A lot of these riders will have 4.0 to 5.0 FTPs, so they can do that for a solid hour straight. And at 2.7 at the front and pulling them still back in, doesn't look like it's going to be going anywhere just yet. It was quite an effort, but not anywhere just yet. We are seeing Burley Alfonso is saying Team PTZ Stuart Lynn letting us know that actually Mr. Stuart Lynn has 345 races out of Canada there for Team PTZ. 345 races out on Zwift. Very cool to see. Very dedicated to the racing out on Zwift here. Cart right now with Straczynski pulling him right on back in, though, it looks like. Not going much of anywhere yet, but setting up, it looks like, at the front of the race here for the climb into the climb out of Ocean Boulevard. As you do see, they are above here. This is where they do climb out of the underground tunnel here and into the lap point. This is the finish of their second lap out here today. 8.2 watts per kilogram, all the way off the front, actually. Already off the front, excuse me. And we are seeing Jay Scott from PTZ right along with Williams. This might have been the plan, actually, to force them to close it down and then grab the draft. There comes Bring It All Extra, actually bringing it from the Vikings team. Also going up the front, 187 beats per minute. We are seeing then, it looks like Johan Gren, very cagey rider, very smart rider, actually waits for the right moment to go all the time here. And it looks like Webb, though, 3.2 is hanging in. Pilkington is making it as well, has that sprint jersey, it looks like, with a solid effort. An 11:24 through the sprint banner. These are actually on the left-hand side of the course here. You can actually grab these jerseys out on course. KOM, fastest lap, as well as the sprint. The only one that we're able to grab out there on the Watopia course right now during this event is the sprint jersey. Currently has the fastest in the race right now. And I believe he might also have the fastest in game right now, signified right there next to his name. You can hold on to those jerseys for 1 hour straight after accomplishing that achievement in game. There will not be any data for the KOM as they are not climbing the reverse or the forward KOM. We can see there's nothing for the epic KOM. That is so every lap you will see this gigantic mountain off in the distance. That is the Watopia mountain. You can climb that and try and grab the epic KOM jersey, as well as the Volcano and the Volcano KOMs. This is for the Volcano lap and then the Volcano KOM for those jerseys if you're ever out there and want to try and see how you're doing against those who are also riding live. We are seeing some cheering there. Go PJ, Riley, Hurt Locker, Fraser, Nathan, the Colonel, and Rich Noble, all WBRB racers. All right, Chris Radley, we will definitely keep an eye out for all of the WBR racers in the B race today. It sounds like it's going to be a tactical race, actually, in the B race between them with 2 laps to go. Let's go ahead and see who's still hanging into the mix there at the front end of the B race, actually, as he does give us a little nudge to go back on over to that front group. Huge front group here. We are seeing, it looks like, the likes of quite a few Race WBR. Noble is in there, actually, from Race WBR right now. We are also seeing, it looks like, Hurt Locker Hill is in there as well. I absolutely love the name there, and killing it right now. It looks like at the front of the group, they have caught a few of the A's that were dropped off. It looks like Nathan's in there as well from the WBR. So a lot of WBR boys at the front end of the B race, as Mr. Chris Ladley was letting us know. Steve Fung is saying that though Innovation has got this as well. We'll see if we can see quite a few Innovation boys have shown up as well. I have seen Orgel in there in the A race, but I do believe we do have the likes of, it is going to be Wilkes there from Innovation up toward the front in that Alienware kit. Mason is there as well in that INC that you do see next to the name from the Innovation boys. So things are still working themselves out at the front end of this B race. It might come down to a pack sprint, actually, I would think, amongst these boys, but it is going to be Heimfarth here up at the front of the race, coming out of Germany, actually, on, it looks like, an elite, if I'm not incorrect, is that an elite jersey right now that he is riding in, and looking over his shoulder, though, now kicking a little bit at the front is going to be Weidman, actually being caught by these boys in this B category. It looks like he was dropped off. Christian Weidman not maybe having the best day out on the flat course today, usually able to make it in amongst the lead group here, but now looking here, it is going to be Light here making it up the climb, one of the only climbs out on course, 3% gradient, as you can see. Heimfarth right along with Aristegi, and then it will be PJ from the WBR team also able to make it as well. So looking over at the broadcast at Mixer, we are getting a lot of comments here. Ian Anderson, good to see you hanging out at the broadcast. He did race this morning. If you ever want to check out Ian Anderson's AM Kiss races, actually, he does do a racer focus on Tuesdays and Thursdays usually for us. So you can tune in for those broadcasts every Tuesday and Thursday morning very consistently, actually, and had a tough race this morning. It looked like there were some solid riders showing up, 5.0 plus watts per kilogram for the A race this morning. So good to see you hanging out at the broadcast, though. A lot of chatter actually going on over at the Mixer channel, actually. Good to see you guys tuning in, as well as over at the Twitch channel. Good to see Szymanski hanging out over there, as well as Lynn over there as well. Nishido is over there as well. Something to do with Row King Cycling Coaching. Assume Nishido says, yeah, just check their website, and Ryan Beavis is one of their coaches. Got it, Nishido. Thank you so much for the information. So Ryan Beavis not only riding for Rowan King, but actually working with them as one of their coaches, actually, and that's why the Rowan King is actually in the name over there at for the A race today. And speaking of the A race, they are heading through the underwater tunnel, or not the underwater tunnel, but the little underpass here after the sprint banner. Here is Ryan Beavis up toward the front right now. It looks like riding for Rowan King there. Johan Graham with some attacks, and we're actually seeing a little bit of split, actually. I'm expecting a full-on group sprint to the finish at some point, but earlier on in the race, it looks like we are going to see a split, and there is the first split. I do see, I believe it was a flag coming out of Switzerland off the back there, and a Swedish flag as well. Moving our way back, who is it going to be? Hargreaves playing it smart, able to hang in and amongst the group there, not getting decorated or ruined just yet now, but from now, out of Sweden now, trying to close it right on down. We do see Jacobsen right along with Pelosi, and it looks like Rosenquist now out of Denmark, able to close it down, but Groot is off the back out of Australia. And it looks like Williams able to hang in there as well. Vegan is in there. It looks like Moberly. And then it will be up toward the front. Innovation still with Hinton. My question is, has Mr. Augustine been able to make this front group? Because he does have a solid sprint, but there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 off the back here. Augustine is in there, actually. There is his name. I do see him able to make this front group still. Now, Tom Hargreaves, make sure you set it just 300 watts, okay? Hanging in, keeping it steady. Don't go away from that steady effort. It's got to just maybe even put it in ERG mode, 300 watts all day long on this, and you'll make it to the end of the climb. Keep it in check, all right, Mr. Tom. All right, 182 beats per minute now, right along with Straczynski. You won't ruin yourself at that point, and enjoy the ride. 300 watts all day long here. So looking through here at the social media right now, let's go Team Innovation. Raymond Malag is letting us know, go Beavis, full gas. Sean Gross-Venner is saying, Gren just had one race earlier today, about 3 less than normal, still will kick with 700 meters to the line. Tom O'Kalen, shots fired for sure over at the broadcast over at Swift's Facebook. Love the banner, boys and girls, keep it coming. And Innovation has some cheering them on as well. We'll see if they can pull this off here. A lot of Swedish flags in there. SZR showing up in force, it looks like, as well up at the front here. Perhaps, or is there no SCR? Excuse me. That's just SCR in the name, as it was not changed from yesterday. We did start covering the SCR races, so every Wednesday we will be here at noon CST. That is 6 p.m. BST, British Standard Time, if you would like to jump into the broadcast or those races. The SCR races put together by the SCR team. A solid series of races, a point series actually, every Wednesday. If you'd like to jump into that point series, still have a chance to do do so, actually, as I believe it will be the best of races. So a certain number of them. So go ahead and jump into there. And I believe they do have a sponsor that's shipping to Sweden only, actually, though, for some giveaways. So if you are in Sweden, you can jump into those races with a little more motivation to do them and grab some prizes, actually, perhaps, if you do get lucky enough to win. Johnny Rocket from the KRT team up toward the front here now. 2.2 watts per kilogram, 161 beats per minute. Not going much of anywhere just yet. Grupo Compacto here right along with Bingval. And this has definitely turned into a proper road race out here today with the current group dynamics here. Nobody able to get away. We've seen a few off the front here. Some of the favorites have tried to make something happen. Maybe as they go through these D category riders, they may use some of the lap traffic to cause a little bit of mayhem at this point. We are seeing KP from Race WBR up the front coming out of Belgium right now. Solid effort here, and it looks like not able to make anything happen as they make their way through these boys, or maybe not even looking to make anything happen. Melty Man 131, certainly Grupo Compacto at this point. So let's go ahead on over to the B category, see if anything's happening over there. We do see them heading on through the, it looks like sprint banner right now. Nothing heating up just yet over there as well. Still, Grupo Compacto here with Barista here from Z-Sun. Looks like Thomas there as well. Johansson up toward the front, 172 beats per minute. Definitely some high heart rates, though. That's for sure. And that's the likes of Zwift Racing. Zwift Racing always has that consistency of pedal stroke, consistency of pedal power all the way through, and you get some of the best workouts because of it. You're never letting off the pedals. You know, there is the road racing factor of the drafting and the sitting in, but even sitting in the draft, they're almost liken it to being at the front end of a mountain bike race, because in mountain biking, it's always go, 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 go. There isn't usually any time where you're backing off too much. You do find yourself into a tempo pace at times and then attacks, tempo pace and then attacks at the front end of a race. If you do get dropped off from the front end of the race, it's nothing but just all out suffering all the way to the finish line for a mountain bike race. So I do think it is a little bit more similar to that type of effort, but the tactics, though, definitely more like road racing. It's a definitely mix and a type of racing in and of itself, actually. Now, Cartwright Williams, and it looks like the Melty Man with a coordinated effort from KRT here, trying to heat things up at the front here. And these three get off the front. They were definitely communicating, and we do see Williams down to 1.0 watts per kilogram. Not going to see the likes of them again, most likely. I think he's going with them and then trying to hold up the pack, perhaps, is what's going to happen. Down to 1.0 watts per kilogram. Full-on blow-up maybe from Williams, trying to go with these boys. Now Cartwright, though, trying to hang on to the Melty Man. Melty Man is going to be pulled back in, and they're going to try and work together now. These guys go off the front together now, and this may be the attack that we're looking for out there today. Melty Man, 5.4 watts per kilogram. Cartwright resting it up now. 5 seconds now. 5 seconds is enough to work with here. Team AHDR with Hassan now. 4.3 at the front, though. But with, it looks like, enough breathing room to work with, we're going to have to see some boys at the front of this pack start to work together. Innovation making their way to the front. It looks like, as well as it is going to be one of the WBR boys. Now it is going to be Hargreaves making his way to the front as well from Zwift HQ. Then it is going to be Vegan Moberly. They're starting to think about it. Are we going to work together here and pull these boys back in? Who's going to make the effort? And it looks, did they actually pull them back in immediately? Okay, so right back into the group right now at this point, and out on this course. Nobody going anywhere just yet. Or are they out the front? Excuse me. No, it's actually a little bit of out of sight, out of mind. Excuse me. I'm making a mistake here, actually, and it's the lap traffic that has caused them to no longer see the riders, actually, and they are going away now at this point. And now we are seeing the orange numbers being thrown down. If they're going to close it down, they have to do it right now. Adam Webb kicking into 12 watts per kilogram, knowing that this is a moment of truth for them. Burton trying to go right along with them, but the Melty Man and Cartwright have some breathing room to work with. They're going to have to kick still 6+ watts per kilogram at this moment right now if they're going to hold on to this gap that they've got right now. We're seeing Cartwright kicking again, 5.5 watts per kilogram, encouraging on the likes of his teammate there, the Melty Man. Now we are seeing Bringville now at 4.6 watts per kilogram, 30 miles per hour. The speed is what we want to look at. It's not always always the watts per kilogram because the groups travel faster out on course than the individuals. We're seeing 28 miles per hour coming here from Cartwright now, and Vic now, 27 miles per hour. So not quite able to bring him back in now. But with those attacks, were they able to break things up at all at the back of this group? Let's go ahead and look down from the helicopter view. That'll give us an idea if anybody's falling off the back now. We are seeing Hargreaves actually for Zift HQ suffering at this point, getting absolutely ruined, we'll see, and decorated out there, out on course. 300 watts. Let's go Hargreaves all day long. Just keep it consistent and pull them back in right now. Muller, and it looks like Gurney now as well. Not sure if they're going to be able to get back with these boys. If they're starting to walk away, these may be the next ones to bite the dust. Looks like Beavis here as well from the Rolling King off the back, 171. Then we've got Greg V. Bridge. Belty Man is saying at the front, I think that's what it looks like, the type at 180 beats per minute. Asking for somebody to bridge up to them and work together with them at this point. They're looking for just a little bit more in this pack right now to try and make it happen. 5.8 watts per kilogram coming from Cartwright at the front, looking for somebody to bridge. Maybe looking for Johan to bridge on up. 6.7 watts per kilogram, 8 watts per kilogram, trying to go right now. All the heart rates right on up into nothing. No heart rate coming from Grimshaw there, but 176 from Pelosi, right along with Vegan, 167. Jay Scott, 176. Hargreaves there right into 172. Keeping the consistency there right along with 151 from Augustine. And still, Grupo Compacto, Cartwright, and Melty Man tried to make something happen. Melty Man going again as they kick into the climb into the Essies. Maybe another chance at this point. As you know, a lot of the riders are going to be on the rivet right now, just trying to hang on. They may be able to at least whittle this down to a smaller group and work together for this last lap out on course today. One to go for the Bell Lap today, I believe it is. Let's just double check and make sure Nathan's got that right, as I don't seem to know how to count. And they are on, it looks like 31.3 in, 3 down with 1 to go, I believe. It's going to be a total of 41K, I believe, out there today. 41K out there today. And with 3 down and 1 to go. 3 down and 1 to go out there today. Bell Lap today, boys and girls. Can they pull it back in or get away is the question out there, as we do see Szerzynski 174 beats per minute. We do have a few falling off the back with Muller and Gurney. Not going to see the front end again, but that's not many to be dropping off with the amount of effort that they've had to put in at this point. And we see Cartwright right along with the Melty Man making their way to the back of this pack, looking for the drafts. Now, will we have any counters? Anvik now seeing that maybe after sitting in, there might be a little bit of a window to work with here, as a few maybe in some hurt right now, but nope, not going anywhere just yet. Rosenquist is there as well. It looks like Team HDR up toward the front, but the Essies are not being used for that advantage as they make their way through this section back into the sprint banner. Few may be looking for a few more of those power-ups to try and gain an advantage over the competition. So far throughout the day here, we've seen a solid, oh my goodness, Metcalf has put out 5.2 watts per kilogram for the duration of 20 minutes during this effort. Cartwright's put out 5.0 watts per kilogram for 20 minutes today. So there's definitely been some serious efforts out there, some killer power numbers put out on this flat course. It's not like they're just hanging out, but it's just so difficult to get away from a group out on a course like this today. We are seeing, for the past results, Jay Scott actually out there for PTZ, a recent PTZ member at, it looks like 56 races out on Zwift, and it does look like he was able to grab a W actually in the KISS Europe race. Was that, it looks like on the 12th actually. Was that just 2 days ago? Did he actually win the KISS Europe race? I thought that perhaps that was another rider, but it looks like it was Mr. Jed Scott, followed by Joan Gravidal, and then Brandy Meltentalo actually in that. Jed Scott solid ride for PTZ. Joan Gravidal also was able to grab it at 4.5 watts per kilogram or so for that race out on Box Hill for the London Loop actually. I believe there was maybe a couple of riders that did get a DQ or a relegation for over 5 watts per kilogram for 20 minutes. And ZwiftPower.com actually, because those are going into domestic to international pro type numbers, they just do a double check and they're like, okay, if you can produce 5 watts per kilogram or more, please go ahead for your functional threshold power. Please go ahead and send us a strain gauge power meter file from real life, from an outdoor ride is what they're looking for usually. And if you send that on over, then you get the clearance that, hey, okay, this is a real effort. But a lot of times, just like Zwift does as well, there'll be a flag over a name if you put out too much effort. Not if you put out too much effort, but if you put out too much power out on Zwift into numbers that look like maybe your trainer setup is a little bit off at this moment, or you should maybe look into getting an international pro contract. The numbers that Zwift though tag at are usually around a UCI elite world tour level of racing, or even above sometimes for getting those flags out on Zwift though. So that's perhaps why we're seeing that difference over at ZwiftPower.com, with Jed Scott taking the win actually 2 days ago. But now we're waiting for the last half lap here. What's going to happen? Grimshaw's up at the front, but he cannot win the race today because it is compulsory in the A category to be wearing a heart rate monitor. So this is a great workout that he's getting, killing it right now, but without the heart rate monitor on, he will have to contact ZwiftPower.com and see if he can get his result reinstated. But you have to wear a heart rate monitor at the front end of the A races in order to just make sure that you're not just hanging out at 110 beats per minute with a setup. But we are seeing Cartwright trying to go again. Kicks off the front. He's got 2 seconds. He waits for a moment and looks to kick one more time. We are seeing 5.4 watts per kilogram coming from him. Pelosi is there around the corner on these races here. Can almost use it like a crit race. We use the corner to gain a little bit of advantage because it does actually treat those corners a little bit like a handling skill if you kick it into them. And as you did see, Cartwright did gain about 2 seconds, but it didn't go much of anywhere just yet. It's looking to come down to a sprint up and over the top, but the type of sprint that this is, it's going to happen up and over the top of the underground tunnel actually. As soon as you hit that underground water tunnel and you hit that 3% gradient from there to the finish line, essentially it's an all-out effort trying to find a wheel and then one last kick when you're already up and over threshold. Actually, it's a wind-up type effort. This is actually one of the most dreaded sprints that I can be a part of, because you know that you are not going to have to just throw down that 200 meter or 500 meter effort or so. Sit in, be cagey, look for that effort, give a little kicks to find that front wheel and then give that last kick. Instead, it ends up being like the 1K. You end up like just going from 1K out essentially, or a little less than that, with a climb full on 5, 6, 7, 1,000 watts, whatever you can to hang on at the front. And then you got to hang on to any kind of groups that are starting to form. Then you have these groups form in splits, and then you're either trying to chase or hold on to your split at that point because you don't want those people to come back. So it ends up being a drag race. It's a long, dragged out sprint actually, and it's a very, very, very difficult sprint to win actually. So it always is very exciting right at the end of this flat course, because it tends to come down to so many riders that might have that kind of match to burn to go from way out. So it tends to favor a rider that can just drag race to the line and kind of be tactical enough though to not waste too many matches and have 2 or 3 matches to burn. Not a single kick rider, but a rider that might have 2 to 3 kicks in succession of each other. We'll see who might have that. My guess is that Adam Webb, Gren, maybe as well. Cartwright might be able to pull this off as well. But Johnny Rocket here, maybe not wanting to be a sprint finish, using some of the lap traffic to find a little bit of breathing room. Johnny Rocket here, KRT team now, kicking out of the US of A. We are seeing Vegan here, Mulberly now out of New Zealand going right along with them. Has a little breathing room. They let these boys go. At this point, the question is, do you chase it down or do you sit in because you know the sprint is coming at this point. So they might be using some of those mental tactics, some of those tactics, knowing that nobody's going to want to put out too much effort at this point. So if you just throw your chips at the table, 6 watts per kilogram off the front all the way, you might not be chased down. But it looks like Pelosi, Johnny Rocket, and it looks like the rest of them are brought right back into the fold. We might see a couple more like that. Maybe on this downhill, we could see an arrow power up being blown at this point and trying to get away if you do not want that sprint effort. If you know you do not have those kicks over and over again, maybe getting away at this point, but you've got to gain quite a bit of time if you're going to stay away from 10 watts per kilogram out of that 3% gradient. There's so many riders at this point. We're seeing in this front group at least 20 plus riders still in and amongst the mix right now. So who do you think it's going to be? You can head on over to zwiftpower.com right now. See who's in the lead group right now. We got Johnny Roddick, Vegan, Hassan, Jacobson coming out of Sweden, KP from Race WBR coming out of Belgium, super international field. Barbosa's in there. Hinton from Innovation. Metcalf is in there from Ornelas, Augustine, Grimshaw, Adam Webb, right along with Wall. Rosenquist is in there. We're seeing Szerzynski, Pelosi, Johan Gren, as well as Anvik. Looks like Urs Geisen out of Netherlands, maybe going to be a wild card. We've not seen racing in quite a while as well. Bringneval, Cartwright, Fleetwood is in there, I believe. So lots of riders. The Melty Man still, along with Gurney, I think has been dropped off 37 seconds last time. Jay Scott. Watch out for these riders. Burton from the TFC as well. So who do you think it's going to be? I'm assuming we're going to see a lot of cheering on for everybody's teams out on Zwift for this finish here today. Pelosi up the front out of Italy, right along with the BRT rider M. Wall, riding for the Bolt Racing team. We're seeing Raymond here saying go vegan. Allenby is out there as well, cheering on. 5.5 watts per kilogram is what he's cheering on today. Man, that draft not changed since October. Allenby is coming with a little bit of feedback there. Team PTZ stronger than ever. Watch out. Gravdal hanging out in the broadcast, took a podium actually back on Tuesday. He's rooting on his team. We are seeing Gren here going from way out, maybe not wanting it to be a sprint finish, and the Melting Man right along with Johnny Rocket now going to the front, but not getting anywhere just yet, but setting up maybe correctly for the right kind of sprint out of this 3% gradient out of the underwater tunnel at this point. The Melting Man, Gren, Johnny Rocket, Vegans there as well. Innovation all lined up at the front. Who's at the back here? Maybe out of position. Rosenquist, Pelosi, we are seeing, but they may get a huge amount of advantage being right around the middle of this pack. The main thing though is being toward the front when you hit the top of the climb. So timing it just right so that you get enough draft through this climb. And here we go, boys and girls. This is for the win here out here today. And Cartwright's the first to go, right along with Gren. 8.4 watts per kilogram, 164 beats per minute. He's got about 10 to 12 beats to work with. We're seeing he does beat into 180s. We are seeing that feather power up being thrown down out on course right now, pushing him into 9 watts per kilogram. Going right along with it will be Jacobson. Jay Scott, Webb's there as well. The Melting Man chasing it down. We are seeing Johan Gren still able to make it, but now THDR falling off. We are seeing Hargreaves playing it smart, maybe just following Orston, and it looks like Augustine as well, but way up at the front, we are seeing it is Cartwright still going 9 watts per kilogram. Bringneval is going with him as well. The Viking Man using that drafting power up, maybe the one time that we've seen a drafting power up be one of the strongest power ups out on course, because usually it's not a huge advantage, but Webb goes right along with them. They've got a gap now, but can they hold on to it? Innovation now with the lead out man trying to make it happen with Hinton now, but now Gren going to 10 watts per kilogram. Is it too little, too late? Because Webb, Bringneval, and Cartwright are off the front now. Now is that moment we were talking about. Are they going to rest? They've already thrown down a huge effort, and now Gren chasing him down, and it's going to come down to this last couple of meters. Scott now trying to chase it down as well. Curley is there as well in this group, but off the front still, it's going to be Bringneval right along with Cartwright. Now here goes Gren with that arrow power up, but Innovation now out of nowhere with Hinton, but Gren still, the effort is gigantic. It's huge here, boys and girls, with Gren 11 watts per kilogram, but Anvik out of nowhere with the upset. It's going to be the Norwegian man with the W, 190 beats per minute. Perfectly timed power up with that effort. Anvik out of Norway riding. First time I've seen this rider, actually, I think in quite a while. Takes the upset, actually. Cartwright we thought was going to do it, but Norway pulls it off with the upset over Johan Gren, who I think hasn't lost a race in quite a while. Who is Anvik? Anvik with a crazy effort there. Let's go ahead and head over to the B category as it heats up out of the Ocean Boulevard, but we definitely want to check out what these past results are coming from the man out of Norway there. What an effort there coming from him. Grabs a W today, and it looks like no races I'm seeing from this rider, actually. Not too many. Took a third in the team at Italy, Specialized Zima, won the WBR 4 lap, won the Kiss Americas, actually. It looks like 100K race back on Sunday. Amazing effort here coming from Simon Anvik. So is this ZA rider? My question is this rider U23 is my other question. I'm not seeing anything from him as far as age goes or anything. Need him to register over at zwiftpower.com. We do have past races from him, but not a whole lot. So the wild card shows up and just throws down and lets us know that he is forced to be reckoned with. We're talking about some of the strongest riders we've ever seen out on Zwift here. So definitely want to see where Simon is coming from, and definitely if he's a U23 rider, that's something that's definitely been super interesting with the races out here. Because as they start to show off who's who amongst the racers, and if they're U23, we can start getting an idea who these qualifiers might be as we get to the finish of the Zwift Academy. There is still time to sign up as we wait for the B riders to make their way to the line right now. If those of you did not know, this race today is a part of the Zwift Academy. 8 workouts, 5 group rides, and 2 races. For the 2 races that you need to complete the KISS, a lot of the KISS races are a part of that as well. So a lot of riders, we had over 330, I think, racers show up today. And a lot of those did have that little ZA badge next to their name, actually. And you do see it. We are seeing it looks like Riedewald right along with Lewis and Barista here, as well as Bijzer. Kier is there, as well as Zavikas. It looks like, I believe, coming out, making a guess here, I believe that's Hungary flag. And now we are seeing a lot of riders here in amongst this B group right now that are a part of the Zwift Academy, actually. Up to the front now, we are seeing F. White now, right along with Aristegui out of Spain, it looks like, as they make their way to the same place out on course in this B category, looking for the W's. Large group, though, and it looks like it's going to be another difficult one to win. But we are seeing White going off the front here, 184 beats per minute. He's actually throwing all of his chips at the table right now and risking it all to try and get away with that aero power up. 6 watts per kilogram steady here, 183 beats per minute. Being chased down at the front of that group by, it looks like, Peckover and Heimfarth. It looks like quite a few, though, that are going to be able to keep him in the fold. I believe he would have to continue on at more than, I believe, 4.5 watts per kilogram to get away from the likes of this group. Only 2 seconds off the front at this point. The C category is also making their way to the line here. We will be able to catch the finish of that race, I believe. I believe we do have Harradine right along with Burgess at the front of that race right now. I'll just make sure that we've got them correct as soon as possible. There's so many racers signed up today. It is going to be Harradine as well as quite a few others. But now the B race is starting to heat up at the front. Now we do have Bijzer. This is the final K right here, and we're looking through. It is going to be a gap that's starting to form toward the front with Thomas, it looks like, as well as Innovation. Now all back together, though. nobody able to really get away. They're going to leave it to the last, it looks like, few hundred meters right now. Dobbelstein out of Netherlands now leading it out. There's a little bit of lap traffic. It looks like they're getting in and amongst here. A few A racers that are being caught that are going to be a part of the sprint, but there's going to be Abelstein right along with Aristegui out of Spain. It looks like Rigdeval from, or I believe it's Rigdeval coming from Innovation. Race WBR up toward the front as well. Not sure which Race WBR rider that is. We'll take a look as soon as they come around the corner here. And it looks like it is going to be Innovation with Payne, as well as the TKBE rider there with... Man, they're jumping around so much. There's so many riders in and amongst this group here right now, and I have no clue who's going to win this race right now. It looks like Giljam up to the front with Innovation. Race WBR, it looks like with Nathan. I know he's got a solid sprint, but it's going to be Bijer now starting to open it up right along with Peckover. Peckover from the A race, so he's not actually a part of the race that we're watching play out here, but he is going to be a part of how it plays out, though, as Carlson's up at the front there. There it is from Innovation. A lot of Innovation boys saving those aero power-ups. Carlson's got 11 watts per kilogram to give. Will Rigdeval be able to come across, though? Looking from the top view, it looks like it is going to just at the line. I'm not sure. I think Carlson held it off. Fouled by Hurtlocker. So I believe Race WBR was able to take third. I'm not sure if Carlson held it off there. We'll have to wait for official results from ZwipPower.com. But I believe, well, Innovation for sure at the front. Rigdeval might have nipped him right at the line. Followed up by the Race WBR rider. Solid effort all around from those riders. Now in the C category, though, here it is for Harding right along with Farzine, and then it's going to be as Burgess for WWZHR, SAS, Tigger, Pack. So that's a lot of different rides that he does out on Zwift, all in the name. A lot of times when you're a part of a group ride or a race, you put the name of that group ride or race into your name so everybody can follow along and know that you are a part of that race. It was something you had to do a lot early on. But you don't have to do it so much now. It is still appreciated, but because of the calling effect of anybody else out on Zwift, you don't have to. It's not required in order to only see those who are near you or get an idea of who is racing. It used to be open world, so you would just see everybody else. They wouldn't call any of the event. There was no event module, and we actually didn't even start at the piers. It used to be that we would just show up at the start finish line. Everybody would have all of their computers synced with each other for timing. So there'd be like a clock from a website that everybody knew was the same time exactly. And they knew that we start at this time in game because text could lag. So you couldn't say go, go, go in game. So everybody would be synced. They'd show up at the same start and then bam, it'd be go. And Zwift Power would track whether or not you started correctly and stuff. It was crazy. It used to be, and then you'd see everybody else in the open world, and so you had to look for who had KISS in their name or who had the race in their name and get an idea of who was racing. So it's been so many advances in the world of Zwift actually with the events. Now we have events, we have category separation, we have culling of categories if you want, so many different features for the events. We have the piers, they didn't even exist for the longest time. So I mean, just starting out on the trainers without having to show up at the same area was a huge step forward as well. So really, really cool. Ian Anderson says, makes me feel old. Great riding, boys. James Perrin is saying Carlson and Ritters. Steve Fung saying over at Zwift's Facebook. Team TFC not in the bunch. Matthew Burton is saying, so sorry to hear that, Matthew Burton, that he fell off. My money's on Colonel Chris for the sprint, Chris Radley. It looks like for the WBR, Chris Radley, it was a solid effort all around for them. And we are seeing that it was Gear. Rigdeval did nip Carlson just barely at the line. It looked like that last second 12 watts per kilogram was able to pull it off. Carlson takes second, but Colin Hill, the Colonel, takes third place for the podium. Team X with Julian Bijer, and followed by Michael Mardos is going to be taking that fifth place on the podium for the B category. C category still heating up here as we are seeing them make to the line. One of them is a Zwift Academy rider with D Winter here out of Belgium. We'll go ahead and give him a ride on, and it is mixed in with a few of the B category riders though as they make their way to that spot that has been the main point of interest out on course. It looks like Harding coming out of Australia here early morning for him as he rides along with Douglas Northcote, and it looks like Farzan, and then it will be Burgess, D Winter, and then Lund out of Denmark, maybe playing it smart, 146 beats per minute. We are seeing De Winter 158 there, Douglas 159, and then Iman here 180. Not sure he's going to have a whole lot to work with here to the finish line though as they make their way up and over the top here. Looking through, it looks like it is going to be Hardy with 6 watts per kilogram. Douglas attacking there, 6.9 watts per kilogram right now. Burgess now 173 as he makes his way to the finish here in just a moment. We'll have to see if they're able to hold off the rest of the riders. 4.0 watts per kilogram. Northcote, it looks like here, right along with Eamon, but it is going to be out the front. Douglas, they're going to let him go though, as he's a part of the B category. He's not super interested, looks like, Harding, in making that chase. He does have 6 meters though. There is no draft amount at this point. This isn't all an effort actually. At the C category, 5.3 watts per kilogram, their FTP is going to be assumed between 2.5 and 3.2 watts per kilogram. So he is well over FTP at this point, 167 beats per minute, trying to hold off Northcote. Northcote closes it down right along with Farzan. Looks like it's going to be De Winter then sitting in still, 167. Eamon 185. Lund still playing it smart at 155 beats per minute. Did have quite the rise in the heart rate though over the last couple of minutes. Will he be able to throw down a solid sprint with this smart play though, or is he just hanging on for dear life at this point? We'll go ahead and give him a ride on. 7.5 watts per kilogram. De Winter going from way out here, 175 beats per minute, 750 watts, boys and girls. Here goes De Winter. There's an arrow power, but De Winter's got the kick to the line. It will be De Winter, it looks like, today, with Iman trying to close it down, but 10 watts per kilogram all day long coming from this rider. 193 coming from Iman. Solid effort here, but De Winter will be taking the win in the C category with 190 beats per minute. 3 seconds back, it will be Iman, followed by Northcote in the B category. So actually, Farzan it will be? Yep, it will be. Oh, excuse me. I believe maybe Harding did take that actually from Farzan. So solid ride there for third place for Harding. But I believe then it was in the C category. Off the front there, it looked like it was De Winter who was able to take that effort to the line. I don't want to get it incorrect here. We're waiting for the update for ZwiftPower.com. If you haven't done so already, this, as we were saying earlier, this is a part of the Zwift Academy. And if you haven't done so, you still have a day to sign up. Last day to sign up for the program is September 15th. So head on over to academy.zwift.com for that, to sign up for the Academy. It is going to be 8 workouts, 5 rides, and 2 races. The largest online training community is what we're shooting for there, as well as giving away 1 pro contract in the men and the women's program. U23 only for Team Dimension data over there on the men's, and on the women's it will be Canyon SRAM open to all of the women. Also coming up next Saturday, September 23rd, Rafa Clubhouse in Melbourne, Australia. Head on over there if you are in the area for the Australian E-Crit Finals live event. They've been competing for week upon week upon week throughout the entirety of the Australian winter. So solid efforts all around. The top 10 have been decided, and they will be competing over at the E-Crit Finals. So Dimitri De Winter takes the W, but gets an upgrade into the B category. Make sure that you go ahead and ride in the B category. If you do see these upgrades, head on over to ZwiftPower.com. Thomas Eamon as well, 3.3 watts per kilogram. We are seeing 3.9, 3.7, 3.9, 3.3. All of these riders except for Fred Isaac. Nice job, Fred. 3.0 watts per kilogram, it looks like here for that C category. So these are all upgrades right here for those red numbers, because in these categories, if you're unfamiliar, this is the categories out on Zwift for racers and rides. 4.0 watts per kilogram or higher is an A category rider. 3.2 to 3.9, 2.5 to 2.1, and then 0 to 2.4 for the D, as you can see. So functional threshold power, what is your FTP in a race, is a lot of times a good way to figure that out, or do an FTP test out on Zwift. If you're part of Zwift Academy, it is required a part of the workout. So get that FTP test, figure out what it is, and you can go ahead and jump into the correct race. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at the results again real quick here. Here is the results today. Look at all these riders. I haven't had to scroll through like that since last winter, and we're not even into winter yet. We've already got 350 plus, it looks like. Simon Envik takes the win, followed by Johan Gren, and then Damian Hassan for the top three. Next up, the Zwift HQ with Tom Hargreaves decorating the rest of the field, but off the podium there. Nice job to him. Andrew Hinton there, 5th place today. Looking through here for the B category, it will be Geir Rigdevald, followed by Nick Carlson, and then Colin Hill in the B category. In the C category, we're seeing a lot of upgrades. We'll call it as we see it: Dimitri De Winter, Thomas Ewan, and then Tristan Harding. But it will be an official win, most likely, from Fred Isaac, and some upgrades there for the rest of those riders. Juanjo Ferres, followed up by Jason Robinson. Nice job to the BRT riders out there today. That's going to be it from me. Coming from Zwift Community Live. If you haven't done so yet, make sure to hit that follow button for all community live streaming here on ZCL over at our Facebook, Mixer, Twitch, or our YouTube channel. If you want our VODs, you can always find them over at our YouTube channel. It's all found at ZwiftCommunityLive.com. We'll be back tomorrow for a Zwift Academy workout with Zuzana. She's been completing a lot of her workouts with the Zwift Academy live with us, actually, on Friday nights. She gets a ton of viewers, actually, over on our Mixer channel. You might want to join in over there. I think last week it was 300 plus hanging out over at the Mixer channel, so make sure to head on over there. We may be doing some co-streaming, actually, with that, completing the workouts, actually. If anybody that is out there streaming, a part of our streaming program at all, you can actually probably get a co-stream with us going with ZCL over at the Mixer channel. If you'd like to complete a Zwift workout at the same time with Zuzana, I might jump in there as well. So make sure to jump in with us over at ZCL Places tomorrow for the Zuzana's ZA workout. If you don't know what ZA is or what Zwift is, stick around for a couple of videos. That's going to be it from me. Thanks everybody for tuning in. As always, great job to all the racers. Solid efforts. You guys are the testament to what an amazing platform Zwift is for training, getting an amazing workout in, creating the largest training community online. So here's a little bit about what Zwift Academy is all about, and that largest community of online community is all about, as well as what Zwift is, and a few of the group rides that you can be a part of as well. Thanks for everybody for tuning in, and ride on.
This September, Team Dimension Data and Zwift are joining forces to create a unique cycling opportunity. Open to cyclists of all ages and abilities, the Team Dimension Data Zwift Academy is a world-class training program designed to make you a rider who will accomplish more than just personal fitness gains. For every 10 cyclists who graduate the academy, Zwift will donate a Quebec bike to help mobilize South African communities.
The work that we do with Quebec, we can change the lives of many different people in communities, and hopefully one day a child that starts on a Quebec bicycle ends up at the Tour de France. Zwift is an amazing platform.